I am live. Good evening. Take a deep breath and get into your body a little bit. Put your feet flat on the floor and just start to witness yourself. Start to feel what it feels like in your body right now. Are you tight, or are you worried, or are you uncomfortable, and what's showing up? And just let it be okay with whatever arrives. So we're going to begin by talking about our topic for tonight. My notes here. So we're calling it Awakening Through Sexuality, beginning the journey back to our birthright. So this is probably the most important step in the awakening process, not just around awakening through sexuality, but awakening ourselves in total, because we have to acknowledge that we're sexual beings and that sexuality is part of our creation energy, and that until we get right with that part of ourselves, we're always going to have a portion of our creation energy blocked. And our most powerful creation energy is our sexual energy, our orgasmic energy, the energy that flushes through our body and it resets our system and it clears us and it helps us feel good. And once we have that energy flowing in our life, our body feels good. So it's so important to get back in touch with that. We can circle around the wagons and we can talk about anything and everything, but if you do not feel empowered in your sexuality, or that you have some level of control, or that it brings you pleasure, etc., you will always have yourself muted, is what I'd call it. Our passion, our excitement, what lights your eyes up and gives you fire is our sexual energy. And that's been taken from us in a whole bunch of societal stuff around religion and not okay to touch yourself or give you pleasure. These are all things that have happened to us and basically are muting our ability to be sexual with another person, to have pleasure in our life, to be able to negotiate that, to feel good about that, to want that for ourselves is key. It's a birthright. So to basically start, we need to be aware of our body. And sexuality begins with us first. Sexuality is not something that is going to be healthy to jump into with somebody else or use it for our pleasure, our gratification, or whatever. We have to come into touch with our body first and explore our blocks, our shames, our guilts, our worries, our discomforts. What are people going to think? STDs, all these kind of things that come into the ability for us to be sexual at all. And we have to be in the mood. We have to feel safe in our body before anything can possibly happen. If you understand what they call Maslow's hierarchy of need, there's basically food, shelter, safety, before we can even start to become sexual with ourselves. And how many of us are stuck in our food and shelter, or fight and flight, trying to earn enough money so that we feel safe enough to have a house and have all our safeties met. So a lot of people are even below the threshold of being able to have sexuality, but every once in a while it pops over and they get sexually frustrated or whatever. So once we understand that that's part of the hierarchy, and happiness and other things are up in that at that level, we're all on this journey to be happy, and we got to be able to feel that we can be sexually expressive and the ability to be worthy of pleasure and feeling good in your body and orgasms and these kind of things are all key in regulating our body and our systems, and then getting us to a point where we feel safe enough and we're out of fight and flight, and all the cortisol and other things that are attacking our body are released. And then some magic happens because our body starts to feel safe and we start to step fully into our power as a being. So we can't, a lot of, I guess we can jump into that with another person and essentially what generally happens is it's just a layering of shame and guilt and past experiences and stuff like this, and it doesn't last very long, or it has a whole bunch of rules around it and nobody feels safe, so the sexuality is really stunted and uncomfortable. So instead of jumping in and trying to attach to another, see love through it, etc., we got to start to come into that relationship with ourselves. Most people do not truly understand their body and what the body's saying. Most of us are living outside our body. We're living up to 5 feet above our chakras and other things because we're not feeling safe in our body. We've been traumatized as a child. We have these rules that say what we can and can't do, societal conditioning, all these kind of things, and then add on some of the excitement of the last 2 years in this world. We are completely not even in touch with our body. So imagine that you're 2 feet above your body, your root chakra and everything is all expressed up on the top of your head, and your crown chakra is maybe up to 2 feet above your body. You might feel this. Now, explore this. So if your crown chakra is way up here, where is the chakras that are attached to your genitals, to your sexual pleasure? Essentially, they're 2 feet above where you're trying to have the pleasure with. So can you have pleasure? Are you really feeling your genitals? Are you really feeling the pleasure, the other things? So essentially, without us being in our body, we're not even experiencing sexuality. So a lot of people are desensitized in their lower chakras, their root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, etc. And they can't even, in a lot of ways, feel their genitals. So we have people that are using vibrators and all this kind of stuff, trying to get pleasure, desensitizing things further because they're having to put a lot of stimulus before they can even feel it. And then they retrain their body that that's the only way they can have pleasure. And it's crazy. So we got to start off with grounding. So let's say we're 2 feet above our body. How do we get down into our body? A really good one, and you can do this while we're talking right now. If your feet are on the floor, take your socks off, take your shoes off. Rubber-soled shoes and other things will keep you from grounding, and just make like little fists with your toes on the bare floor. And if it's carpet, it can be really fun because that's really sensual and feels like make basically fists with your toes. Get that feeling. Start to feel the bottom of your feet. And while you're doing it, I want you to breathe. So when you breathe in through your nose. So we're going to do it. But when you're breathing in, you're going to breathe in all the way to your root chakra. Take one more sip. And then let it out right from your root chakra. Oh, with some noise. Oh, and then keep moving your toes, moving your feet, getting your bum settled into the chair. Start to feel yourself like settling into an easy chair. Start to feel it, and you're going to feel more sensation in your feet, etc. A test that you can do before we start is take 2 fingers and just pinch your ankle. Pinch it really, really hard and just see if you can give yourself a whole bunch of pain. Now, you can go higher up the leg, maybe on your stomach, etc., and just feel it. So we're having an idea of what the sensation is when we're more out of our body. So keep breathing, keep wiggling your feet, and then just feel like, just wiggle your back and other things, and just start to settle into your bum, into your body, and start to feel your feet on the floor. And just let the tension come out through your sound and through your voice. That's the beautiful thing about noise. The noise vibrates the body, and you start to settle down, and you're settling more and more into the easy chair of your body. Start to feel this. You can also have someone that would massage your feet, have them kind of squeeze your feet really, really firm before you sit down and do this practice. I'm saying not to do anything sexual with your partner right now, but to get grounded right now, have your husband or wife just go and squeeze your feet and just start to feel yourself drop in to your body. Keep doing this for 3-4 minutes. You can lay down on a bed, you can sit in a chair or whatever, but just be actively aware. You can close your eyes and just breathe it. Now, once you've gone about 5 minutes, just do a little test. Go down and pinch your ankle where you were pinching before. Does it feel a little more intense? Do you feel the pressure, the pain a lot more? You're going to find out that because we were out of our body, we couldn't feel some of those things. So as we went down, guess what? Now you're fully in your feet, your chakras are in your root and your sacral. Guess what? Your genitals are now going to start feeling better, and you're going to have more ability to feel things. So this is the point when you can also do things like take yourself on a date. So go have a warm salt bath, put one of those bath bombs in with all the Epsom salts and baking soda that makes your skin feel really nice. Put some candles up around the outside. And while you're in the bathtub, just start to touch yourself. You can do little things like just really sensually, just kind of rubbing the hairs on the back of your arm. Go all the way to the tips of your fingers and just wiggle the fingers, and you feel that there's like an electric spark that'll come up, and it goes up and into your heart or whatever. You can also do little cool things whether you touch the tongue, tip your tongue to your mouth. Once you start moving energies in you can short circuit it, and you can make it go back into your body. Do sensual things with your face and your ears. Just touch and just see where that edge of pleasure is that you normally don't do. Another thing I love to, when my hair is short like this, I love to rub it. And there's this sensual sensation of hundreds and hundreds of hairs all being activated at the same time. Another really good one is just trace your lips. Yeah, on me, it's just like sparks of pleasure that goes into your body. And especially that little spot where the nose divot is, feel it. Touch your nose, touch your neck. Go behind your ears, play with your earlobes. Sometimes even just pulling on your earlobes and pulling them in different directions can be deeply, deeply sensual. And then start to explore other parts of your body. What's going on with your legs, with your knees, the insides of the knees, any of the creases. Just go there and just do little tickly little touches and see where that energy goes in your body. And it'll just hype you up. Do the inside of the elbows and just really, really soft. Now, another thing I'm going to tell you is over time, soft touch will kind of wear away. You'll just get overly desensitized to it. So you can switch to other touches after a while, like squeezing and pressure, and start doing that to different parts of your body. How does that feel? You can also go in and do really slappy kind of, and it oh, wow, it's energizing, and it feels that energy all the way up, and I feel it go into my spine and up into my head. Now, as these energies are starting to get activated in your body, start to breathe them around. It's like, okay, I feel that. Ooh, that feels really good. I want to send that through my heart down into my lower chakras and see if that pleasure can feel good. I want to hold my heart maybe and move those energies. Start to feel it in your body. Get it into this sensual practice. Once you're done with your bath, you move into the bedroom and you're laying in the bed all by yourself. You don't have to do anything but just say what feels good. Ask your body questions. It's like, oh, do my nipples feel good? Do my genitals feel good? How does touching them? How does pressure feel? Where am I tight? What's going on? Start to use the breath. If you feel tight anywhere, or you feel that the energy is kind of stuck, like let's say we're doing the slap, 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 and I feel it go into my heart, but I don't feel it move anywhere. Use the breath. Concentrate on where the energy is. And I want to loop that energy. Maybe I'm going to put the tongue at the roof of my mouth and take that energy and now loop it back down my spine and into my lower body parts. And we're going to start to get to be really familiar with ourselves. And you don't have to go to the point of pleasure, but you're already going to be feeling pleasure with all those soft touches and watery touches, and put some coconut oil on and see how that feels different with more squeezy pressure. And you can do this on any part of your body and start to really understand what's going on in your body, what feels good, where it doesn't feel good, where it feels blocked. And you're going to get to have some interesting experiences like, okay, I don't feel any sensation here in this part of my body. Why don't I? Ask what's in there. Ask what you're feeling. Start to move the breath and start seeing. And you're going to maybe see some traumas show up. You're going to see some past fear. Okay, my ex did this, or my Y did that, or whatever, but you're now becoming aware of it. And I'm going to tell you a secret. As we move through the pleasure energy, we can start to set an intention before we become orgasmic with ourselves. We can say, okay, my intention is to clear the blockages in my genitals today, or in my nipples, or in my throat. You're going to feel some tightness somewhere. And that's you finding out about you. Okay, can I really talk and say my yeses and nos if my throat is constricted because I've never had the opportunity to do that? So now all of a sudden you can say, okay, I want to clear that blockage in my throat. And you can start to move the pleasure energy. You can move it in your body and send it to that place and get it to break up what's feeling tight, or that choking feeling, or that I'm not safe in this world, or whatever. It can be in your heart. It can be all the way down your chakras. As we start to move this energy, we get to build this energy. So something really interesting to start learning is how the energy moves in your body. So if you're giving yourself pleasure, and let's say maybe it's just touching nipples or something, and you're getting that feeling, and it's like feeling very orgasmic, and it's entering in your root chakra, well, guess what? When you start getting close to the point where you might be orgasmic, what if instead we did something really cool? We basically squeeze our PC muscle or our Kegel muscle, so way down in our bottom of our root, and then we pull that energy up. Instead of letting it sit and keep sparkling in there to the point, pull it up to the sacral chakra, pull it up to solar plexus, pull it up another chakra. You're going to make room for more energy to come. Keep giving pleasure. Do things like edging. Edging is approaching the edge of pleasure, then using the breath to move the energy up. You can literally move this whole energy all the way up to your crown chakra if you do this for long enough, and you're going to get just filled with all this amazing energy. And guess what? When we get to the point of orgasm or intense pleasure or bliss, we're actually like a pipe cleaner. We're cleaning our central chakra. All this energy is just shooting out the top of our head. And I'm going to explain that in a second. How do you move the energy? How do you use this energy to heal yourself? But you start cleaning with the pipe cleaner, and all this shit is showing up, and you're feeling maybe a little bit angry, a little bit scared. You're afraid some past life trauma or this life trauma is coming up, but it's coming out at the same time you're having pleasure. This intense healing, you're getting serotonin, oxytocin, and all these beautiful things flooding your body. And all of a sudden, it's not scary anymore. The cortisol, the bad things for fight or flight, are actually breaking down by us having this pleasure. We're now feeling at one with our body. We're having the petite mort, which is the small death. The French call the orgasm. Our whole body just goes into contraction. And at the end, we're just like, and we're just drooling. We're in a meditative state now. Guess what? You don't have to learn to meditate. Use that state afterwards, after that orgasm, to just sit really calm and quiet and just feel what's going on in your body. Do I feel tense anywhere? Is anything blocked? Some emotion might come up, some past, and you can go and hug yourself and just say, okay, this is coming up. Here's the most amazing, beautiful healing modality that you can do without involving anyone else. You don't have to go and have Reiki. You don't have to go and have ayahuasca, all this kind of stuff. Our pleasure literally creates DMT in our head, and we get close to that state already, all through our sexuality, our pleasure, our bliss, our orgasmicness. So it's key we get back to owning this tool, this birthright of maintaining our body. And basically, there's going to be lots of people in the world that say sex is bad, you shouldn't masturbate or give yourself pleasure or these kind of things, because they want to shame it. They want us to stop doing this because people get light, people get happy, people get changed overnight through deep acts of intimacy with themselves, deep levels of pleasure. And once we can start finding this pleasure in ourselves, then we can eventually move to a place where we can say to a lover, say, hey, I really like when you touch down there and you touch this part and you touch that part. And that's my favorite. And once you're in that non-shame state, and you know how your body's going to react, and you know how it's going to feel, you just open. And the ability to surrender, the ability to be open, the ability to stand in your power or not stand in your power, switching roles between the masculine, feminine, dominant, submissive. These are all parts of our sexuality, parts of letting go and allowing stuff to show up. So we need to explore ourselves. We need to know what's scary, what's uncomfortable before we're in the middle of some deep act of vulnerability with a partner. We need to know this for ourselves. So I'm giving you the tools: breathing, moving the energy, like touching the tongue to the top of your mouth. If the energy is moving too fast and you're going to go over the edge, you can short circuit with that. You can move energy. You can move the sensuality, move the energy to other parts of our body. We can then tell our partners, it's like, oh, I love it when you rub my earlobes, or oh, just kissing is amazing. How do you know all that unless you've kind of sampled it yourself? So the gift of this first level of awakening through sexuality is to find ourselves. How can you do that? How can you get intimate? How can you get soft and really grounded in your body, and then explore your body? Once we have this knowing, it's going to lead us to other places. And I'm going to tell you right now, much of our trauma, so trauma for a person is an incident or event where overwhelming emotions happened and we can't express or deal with them in the moment. So what happens is a big bubble of them gets blocked off, and our brain and subconscious are protecting ourselves from having that happen. And then we just basically keep shoving it down and building rules on top to make sure that never happens again. And over time, all those energies of trauma end up in our root chakra, lower chakra, sacral, solar plexus. This is our connection to the world, and it'll close it off. And in a man's body, usually the rectum or the anus is a very, very tight spot, because that's where all his trauma is, and he's like a tight ass and trying to protect himself by this thing. In a woman, they can hold it in their rectum as well, but a lot of times it ends up in their cervix. And the cervix is the entrance to their womb. It's their most holy entrance to their sexual energy. And you can feel it. Sometimes it's just like a hard rock in there. These tissues are saying no, and all this trauma is there. Now, some people may have experienced during sexuality where they get pain when they're being penetrated, especially women, where it's like hurting. Well, guess what? If you got a rock hard cervix and something's coming and banging into it, that's going to keep trying to bring your trauma up all the time. Well, if we can get to this point where we're softening our body and grounding, things start to move. And some people are going to know this as well. They've had sexuality with a person, they're in the middle of orgasmicness, and they're angry and sad, and big bursts of emotions are going to come up. Well, guess what? Pardon me. Those emotions, or those trapped traumas, are being hit and touched and expressed. And when the point of orgasmicness comes, the whole body is just like, and guess what? It's like massaging those little bubbles, and eventually some of them are going to burst. And this is the most amazing thing. It can be quite scary in the moment, but it can and be very vulnerable, but it can be a beautiful place of expression of that. Go through the energy. Don't feel guilty or ashamed. This is why it's perfect when we do it by ourselves. We can have that experience. We can know that we're not going to hurt someone or whatever, or have to close off in the middle of our pleasure just because this thing is coming up. Well, if you're being vulnerable with a person and you're being naked and sexual with them, this is the time when those kind of things should be able to show up, and people should be aware that emotions are going to come up, and it has nothing to do with the person. It just has everything to do with healing. So if we start to get to this point of orgasmicness, moving the energy up the chakras, like I said, just sipping. So we'll do that again. So what I said is, once the pleasure gets to the point where you're about to peak or have an orgasm, squeeze your PC muscle, just like, oof, and then breathe in. You're going to sip the energy. You're going to feel that energy in the root chakra, and then you're just going to go, and then let it go. So it's just like stretching, like toffee. If you're pulling toffee and it's really, really stretchy, once you pull it up, it's soft and malleable, and then build again. And then as you fill that first chakra again, you bring it up to the second chakra again. Squeeze. You can do it through your nose, through your mouth. I think I prefer the nose, but basically you just keep bringing it up. And then eventually that second chakra is going to get filled, and third chakra and fourth chakra and fifth chakra, and just go to each one and feel how the pleasure, let it expend itself, let it go to full orgasmicness. And then how does it feel to have a hard orgasm? Oh, wow, that's really, what's the solar plexus one? What's the throat chakra feel like? Once we have this awareness through ourselves, guess what? It translates directly into self-mastery, which allows us to be a better sexual partner, to have new communication with partners, etc. So we need to be aware of ourselves and our pulls and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and start to know the level of pleasure that you're capable of. And then you can teach your partner these things. Once you've perfected it for you, you can say, hey, I'm going to ground you, honey. Is this going to be good or whatever? And then they're going to start seeing that this feels different. Using that tongue at the top. There's something called a microcosmic orbit where we start breathing, and we can do it for ourselves where we just kind of circulating our sexual energy as we're building. But you can also get that so that you send it into your partner, and it goes up through your partner and then out through their heart and back into them, and then they're giving it back, and this energy builds. But a lot of us don't know this. We don't know our body enough. We don't know what feels right or what we need to feel pleasure. So without it, we're lost. We're confused. We're pleasing. We're trying to give orgasms rather than moving our energy and knowing how to get to that point for our body. But once we know that for us, something magic happens, because we can then be out of our head in our sexuality and we're in our body. And then we can start to make a connection with our partner, and you're going to start to feel where their sexual energy is blocked, where they're feeling good. Chances of things like simultaneous orgasms and multiple orgasms begin to grow, because now we're not struggling and fighting with ourselves. Oh, what's going on? How does this feel? What's that feel? Oh, am I feeling them or am I feeling me? Until you know yourself and what you feel like, how can you sit in a place where you're joining energy, sitting in somebody else's chakras or auric field, and expect to have some pleasure? It's impossible. So start to understand yourself. Make this at least 3, maybe 4 times a week where you sit down and spend some time with yourself. And if you're got a partner and you got kids and stuff like this might be difficult, but it's going to give you the biggest gift that you've ever imagined. Once we get back to our pleasure and feeling good, get that daily dose of serotonin, oxytocin, all this kind of stuff, you're going to be a better normalized person, and you're going to be less and less out of your body, because you want to feel the sensation. You want to feel what's good. Less and less trauma, less and less emotion is waiting to explode out on you. And eventually you're just going to get to the point where you're walking fully in your body. And then you don't have to do all these things, because you know, and you're going to know when it doesn't feel right. This isn't my body. This is wrong. Or you're going to combine with a partner, and we're going to have to talk at a later time. But the joining of energies needs to be released afterwards, or else you're going to end up carrying around a bunch of crap that our partner carried, and you won't even know why. And you're going to feel their emotions and other things. If you get to the end and you go, I release you, doesn't mean you're done in your relationship. You're just saying, hey, I don't want to be half you and you half me. I want to be myself while I process all this beautiful joy and new things that are happening. And then when I'm lit up and I'm feeling good or whatever, it's much easier to feel better about sexuality, better about pleasure, have new asks, new wonderment, new play to our sexuality. So until we get to the point where we know our body, we have some level of self-mastery, and there's going to be future videos. We're going to talk about how to deal with triggers and other things, but here's the start. Listen to this video, sit down and build a practice, and use crystals, use what do you call them? Essential oils, scented candles, whatever, anything that turns you on or feels good to you or whatever starts to be part of what we want. And we're trying to explore all these different things. So, and remember the different types of touch, the really soft touch, the flowing touch, the firm touch, and then the sparky touch. And these things all feel good in your body in certain ways. Some people like to be spanked while they're in sexuality or whatever, but other people that doesn't turn them on. So we're now learning what we like, and we can tell our partner, hey, I like lots of flowy touch, and I like coconut oil, and I want to be massaged first before we start. Perfect. Now you're getting grounded in your body. Guess what? Takes a while. Women's bodies don't fully wake up to sexuality for 20, 30, 40 minutes sometimes. Men have this opportunity where they're just kind of raging hard, but as they get older, they want soft touch. They want heart connection. Those responses is not always erectile dysfunction. And yes, some people have physical things, but as men move more and more into their heart, their lingam only starts to respond when they're feeling connection and heart. And there's a lot of people that aren't feeling connection and heart anymore. So now they're having to take pills and all feel ashamed about themselves. But no, it's just a natural progression where we're starting to want more touch and feeling before we get fully aroused. And a lot of us haven't even explored having orgasms without a hard lingam. And women, in shamanism, they teach there's like 4 quadrants. 2 of them are erect and hard. 2 of them are water and soft. And you can still have pleasure. You can still have orgasms. You can still ejaculate. You can still all these things. Same with women. Some women have watery orgasms through squirting, and they sometimes they just are dry and normal. There's different types, but only 1 or 2 of them of the 4 that are possible are even part of normal sexuality. And to explore these areas is amazing. And I'm going to say this, you can't even get to some of those states without being completely relaxed and in surrender. If you're withholding it or ashamed or whatever, guess what? Those states will never arrive. And then we're wondering if there's something wrong. So please start to explore and start to be aware. And this is going to be the greatest gift you're ever going to give, is to get back to the touch, the sensuality, the groundingness of your body, and knowing what your body wants and what your body feels. And then from there, magic can happen. So this is the first step. It's not about finding someone and get physical with them right away. No, it's about learning about ourselves, getting really confident and comfortable in our sexuality with ourselves. And then the magic, the fire starts, and your life improves in the first place. So I really, really think this is something that everybody should learn. Not everybody's going to want to go to this stage, but I will tell you right now, by using these methods, you're going to heal much faster. You're going to feel much better. Your brain's going to be filled with these beautiful oxytocins and serotonins and all these things that allow you to process the world better. The DMT and those other effects can make the process even more amazing. And these things all shift our awareness. They start to awaken us. They start to make us feel safe and comfortable. And you'll be surprised at how quickly things move. This energy of sacred sexuality has been given to us from Source to basically heal us and make massive changes and beautiful healing within us. And it'll move energies, traumas, break up stuff really rapidly. And it all begins with us. So let's try it. I'd love to hear your experiences. Put them in the thing in the chat below. If you have any questions, look me up anytime. This is Awakening Through Sexuality, and I thank you for listening, and you have a really good night. Have fun.